6'3", 228.
No. I mean,
he looks bigger.
He
than
had
that.
the best scramble of the year last weekend.
Yes,
I thought it was a
incredible
touchdown. He stepped out of bounds.
Yeah.
No, my worry, though, is he's heading to the tent about once a game, going into the tunnel.
Why don't you have that concern for Josh Allen? Because he runs a lot every game, too.
Because Josh Allen is 3 inches taller and 25, 30 pounds heavier. And I do have a concern with Josh Allen. I've said this time and time again, is that you cannot sustain. Josh Allen's going to become Big Ben and Cam. He's going to be 32 years old, 33, and just look 38.
Yeah.
And so I've been on this for 2 years with Josh Allen. This is great, and it's fun. But Buffalo just bails on their run game too quickly. And I like Singletary. I think he can play. Outside of center, their O-line in Buffalo is not real good. Chicago, by the way, they've got one. I go to PFF from time to time. They have one offensive lineman that scores pretty well, but it's a bit of a work in progress.
Geez, from a work in progress to a full-on dumpster fire. Arizona Cardinals, my goodness, it is getting bleak. 4-10, eliminated from the playoffs. You got Kyler Murray facing a long recovery from the ACL. You've got coaches getting booted from the staff.
I know.
It's ugly. Former Cardinal Carson Palmer is looking at the future. He doesn't think things are trending in the right direction.
It's tough to watch. I mean, the future is bleak right now when you really look at it and you look at the timeline of things. So Kyler blows his knee out beginning of December. You got to throw in 9 months, maybe 12, depending on the process and any hiccups in the process. So he's on a short timetable. They've got a lot of positions to fill. They've been banged up everywhere. They've lost guys in the front, on the back end of their defense. So it's just been one of those years. I know every job in the NFL is attractive, but that's not that attractive of a job right now.
No, it's not attractive.
Could be looking to replace their GM. There are some other stories. You know, we've been on Kyler. We're connected with some teams around the league. There's some more stuff that's going to come out, not necessarily Kyler related, just shows the dysfunction level among the players and coaches. This is not a buy team, Colin. This is quite a rebuild going on in Arizona.
Yes.
And final story is Jags Jets tonight. Battle of the top two quarterbacks in the 2021 draft. Trevor Lawrence in the rain tonight. They're calling for rain at MetLife against Zach Wilson, who went second to the Jets. Jets have to win out and get some help to get to the playoffs. Jags have to win out, but with the Tannehill news, Tannehill now out for the season, I think that gives the Jags kind of a shot in the arm, like, hey, guys, we win out. We're going to go to the playoffs. Trevor Lawrence kind of carrying the team. According to Fox Bet, Jets are favored by 2.5 points. The Jets are favored by 2.5 points.
I'd probably go Jets. I think the Jags... They come off a win over Dallas at home. They're really feeling themselves.
Yeah.
Now the Jets, I haven't bet the Jets much this year, and one of the reasons is teams that beat themselves worry me.
Boy, you're missing out on a couple good runs.
Yeah.
Let me point this out though. Last time the Jags had an awesome win. Remember they beat the Ravens, thrilling comeback, late game stuff from Trevor Lawrence. What'd they do the next week? Got their doors blown off in Detroit. So how they handle prosperity hasn't always been great this season because this is a team learning how to win.
Yeah.
I would look at, I think, first half under, if you want to get a little exotic. Low scoring. Neither team wants to make a mistake. I don't think Salah's going to be letting Zach Wilson sling the ball around in inclement weather. A lot of running, low scoring. Under 18 first half is what I got.
All right. J-Mac with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Line.
Yeah, the Greg
News.
Cosell, we'll put it on the podcast today, Greg Cosell. He really had some interesting thoughts on the Cowboys. They're not as good as you think. I watched Brian Kelly's first year, offensive guy, very good. Lincoln Riley's first year, very good. Your first year, very good. I would think it's next to impossible to bring in an offensive system that's brand new because it's so sophisticated, a new playbook and work. How did you simplify it? How do you offense? By the way, Harbaugh, to his credit, Michigan first year won 10 games. How did you get it rolling so fast? Because you had a whole new system.
Yeah, Colin, we were lucky. We walked into a situation where we had a quarterback that had experience. Max Duggan had been starting quarterback here for really 3 years, kind of off and on. And, we felt like we'd coached against Max when I was at SMU. And so we felt like Max was a guy that had a lot of talent, maybe that hadn't reached his potential. And the thing that Max gives us is an ability to run the football. And when your quarterback can run the ball, then that allows you to be a little bit more simple in your pass game. And so, that's a game changer when your quarterback can make the plays that Max can make with his feet. So it allowed us to be maybe a little more simple, not rely on him throwing the ball quite as much, and try to be a little bit more balanced of a team.
Yeah, well, you did wonders with Jared Goff, who's not a runner, so you can obviously make multiple guys work. So you're gonna face Michigan, and just my amateur eyes watching this, I said about 2 weeks ago, I said, boy, I don't know if TCU matches up in the trenches with Michigan. They can score on Michigan. When you look at Michigan's personnel, are you concerned that they can bully ball it pretty effectively?
Yeah, honestly, Colin, I think anybody that plays Michigan probably is a little bit concerned of that. I mean, they've got a really good offensive line. I think it's a strength of their football team. They're big up front on both lines of scrimmage. They've got 3 tight ends that can jump into some 13 personnel and do some kind of interesting things from a run game perspective. They'll play with 6, 7 offensive linemen at different times. So you can tell that they want to run the ball. Their quarterback has really played well. He's made a bunch of big plays for them. But they're a football team that wants to run it, and they really do a nice job of staying patient with the run game. They can push people around, and so that's going to be the big challenge for us is stopping the run and make the quarterback beat us. And he's certainly capable of doing it, but we've got to stop the run because that stops their offense.
Yeah, you had Nick Foles, you have Max, who you made him a Heisman finalist. You had Jared Goff. We were just talking about Jared Goff. That when he's got a good O-line and a clean pocket, he throws a beautiful football. Did you know instantly I think you had him as a freshman, if I remember. Didn't you? Did you know instantly, he's going to play on Sundays?
It's funny. We played Ohio State like week 3 of his freshman year. We were bad. I mean, it was kind of a rebuild. We were 1-11 my first year at Cal, and it was challenging for Jared. He was having to start as a true freshman. We didn't have a lot of players around him. The thing I learned about Jared, though, week 3, we played Ohio State, and I bet he got hit 30 times in that game. And Jared's not the biggest guy in the world. He's kind of a tall, thin guy, but he never blinked one time. And I remember coming out of that game thinking, man, this guy's a pretty special player. He's got a chance to be a really good one just because of his toughness and his ability to stand in the pocket, see down the field, distribute the ball to guys. And the great thing about Jared, he just got better and better every year. Came out after his junior year, ended up being the first pick in the draft, and has had a really nice NFL career.
Well, everybody's talking about C.J. Stroud as a pro, but I look at Max Duggan, and I think to myself, well, quarterback's got to move these days. Not to make you an NFL scout, but it feels like he can play at the next level. Do you think he has success on Sundays?
I do. I really do. I think Max is one of those guys that is going to continue to get better and better. I don't think Max has gotten near his ceiling yet. He's a really, really good athlete, ran sub 22, 200 meters in high school. He's got great speed. He's got good size. He's physical. He's very, very hardworking, got a blue collar mentality. He's got that ability that great quarterbacks have of making everybody around him better. When he walks into the huddle, he's got command. Everybody respects him, respects the way that he plays, and it makes everybody around him better. So I think Max is going to be one of those guys that goes in the NFL as a backup for a couple of years and at some point gets an opportunity to be a starting quarterback. And I think he'll continue to get better and better and better as he moves forward. And he's got a lot of potential. He really does, because he's made a huge jump from last year to this year. So I'm excited to see what he does when he gets to the NFL.
Yeah. You had Gronk at Arizona. You recruited him out of high school in Pittsburgh. We love Gronk. I mean, he wasn't nearly that. I remember in college at Arizona, he wore a goofy number. You told me in the break it was 48. When did you look at Gronk at Arizona and go, oh, my, we may have something really special? I mean, did you ever see all-time top 5 tight end? Did you see any of it?
Yeah, you saw a little bit of it when you recruited him, just his size and his athleticism. You didn't really know how he was going to develop into a pass catcher. He didn't do a lot of that in high school. And so we got him, probably 2 or 3 weeks into fall camp. You knew you had something special. You had a really big guy that had the hands of a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Could run like a wide receiver. But the thing that Gronk had that made him so different is you could put his hand on the ground and he would go and block like an offensive tackle. I mean, he was really physical. He loved to play physical, most of those guys, if they're good receivers, they want to catch the ball and they want to stay out of the mix from a blocking perspective as much as possible. And he never turned that down. I mean, he always wanted to block. He wanted to be physical. He wanted to go in there and knock guys around. And he just loved to play football and loved to practice. And so you could tell pretty quickly this guy was going to be something special. And, it's pretty crazy. He only played 18 college football games for us at Arizona. Got hurt going into his junior year.